Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. The UK gave up the use of Huawei equipment in the construction of its 5G network, but Huawei unexpectedly received orders from countries such as Belgium, Thailand and Russia. This shows that Huawei's 5G technology is highly recognized and is considered the most mature and leading technology in the world. It is worth mentioning that these countries have chosen to cooperate with Huawei to jointly promote their own 5G construction, aiming to seize the commanding heights of the global 5G era. Huawei's 5G technology has been highly praised because it represents true maturity and leadership. At the same time, the United States is trying to suppress Huawei by restricting American technology companies from supplying Huawei. However, Huawei CEO Ren Zhengfei is undeterred, and Chinese companies are fighting back. Recently, Chinese companies located in Silicon Valley in the United States have begun to return to China. They rejected chips from Silicon Valley in the United States and chose to support Huawei. Tencent, Alibaba, Xiaomi, JD.com, Gree and many other well-known Chinese companies have joined this lineup. By choosing to support Huawei, these companies have sided with Ren Zhengfei, demonstrating their confidence and support for Huawei. Chinese companies collectively returned to China to support Huawei. Many Chinese companies have reached out to provide support to Huawei. Gree invested $2 billion to support Huawei's chip research and development. Alibaba generously spent $200 billion to support Huawei. Li Ka-shing invested $17.5 billion to express concerns. And Tencent even invested $500 billion to fully support Huawei. These companies may have their own considerations, but their ability to work together to overcome the difficulties is undoubtedly worthy of appreciation. This move made Washington uneasy. Chinese companies are relocating and developing in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley has always been a gathering place for global technology companies, and a desirable place for scientific research talents. However, the recent out-of-control epidemic and social unrest in Silicon Valley in the United States, coupled with the United States' suppression of Huawei, have worried Chinese companies and Chinese scientists, and they have chosen to return to China for development. The continuously improving domestic scientific research environment, investment atmosphere, and talent introduction policies make returning to China a better choice for development. As the situation in Silicon Valley in the United States worsens, Chinese companies have begun to transfer their development plans to Silicon Valley. These Chinese companies realize that instead of being subject to US policies and restrictions, they should return to their home countries to develop and benefit from domestic policies and innovation environment. Therefore, more and more Chinese companies choose to leave Silicon Valley and return to China to invest and develop. This phenomenon not only reflects the strength and confidence of Chinese enterprises, but also highlights domestic technological progress and the improvement of global competitiveness. The continuous improvement of the domestic environment has attracted Chinese companies to return home. The Chinese government has been committed to improving the domestic scientific research environment and innovation capabilities. Through a series of measures and policies, China has attracted a large number of scientific research talents and capital, providing good conditions for enterprise development. For example, the domestic innovation and entrepreneurship environment is becoming more and more mature, and the government's support for technology-based enterprises continues to increase. In addition, domestic enterprises can more easily cooperate with the government and scientific research institutions to obtain resources and support. These factors provide strong support for enterprises to return to China for development. This is good news for Huawei. Chinese companies have returned to China to support Huawei, which is good news for Huawei. The return of these companies for development has provided Huawei with more partners and resources. At the same time, this also demonstrates the rise of domestic enterprises and innovative forces, providing strong support for Huawei's competitive position in the international market. Huawei is at a critical moment. The support and cooperation of domestic enterprises can not only help Huawei tide over difficulties, but also help Huawei better develop and expand its influence on a global scale. As a representative of Chinese technology companies, Huawei is highly recognized and appreciated around the world. In recent years, domestic companies have provided timely support for Huawei, providing strong support for Huawei's competitive position in the international market. At the same time, the large-scale return of Chinese companies in Silicon Valley also means that the domestic technological innovation environment and conditions are constantly improving, and more talents are optimistic about the opportunities and prospects for domestic development. I believe that as China's technological strength continues to rise, Huawei's voice will become louder and louder on the global stage, and Huawei will continue to bring more advanced technology and innovation results to the world. We have reason to believe that under the leadership of Mr. Ren Zhengfei, Huawei will continue to leverage its greater technological advantages and make greater efforts to build a community with a shared future for mankind. Let's wait and see Huawei's subsequent exciting performances. It seems that the rise of Huawei is indeed the epitome of Chinese companies going out, and its results will definitely inspire more Chinese companies to achieve greater achievements in high technology. Currently, many netizens are discussing the impact Huawei has brought to the world, and there are different opinions. Some netizens said that Huawei is an unstoppable force in China's technological development and will surely lead the world in the future. Other netizens said that Europe and the United States are still the mainstream, and Huawei must continue to exert its efforts. Other netizens said that no matter what, Huawei's success demonstrates the power of Chinese companies, and more surprises will appear. What do you think? You can leave your comments in the comment area.